Hello everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at a new range of buildings for Tollingchester from Sarissa Precision as I check out the Town Centre collection. Okay, so the Tollingchester Town Centre collection contains the Gunwale Street Warehouse, Jailers Lane House, Market Row Shop Front, Walkways and Skydecks, Tall Cottage, jettied bays and dormers, wooden balcony, Guild rooftop and watchtower, and yard walls. Little cartoonish picture on the back. It's one of those ones where somebody's used a filter on a photo. Modern technology, isn't it great? QR code on the back, and an absolute stonking block of wood. If we get into it, we'll work from the top down, for I have learned that there are additional instructions inside these at layers. So we start with what you can build. 3 buildings. Oh, this is the market day collection, other kits, yard walls. Put them all together and what have you got? This is the Gunwale Street Warehouse. How to build this in stages. A lot of these are the same because they have the same base form, which then allows you to mix and match. So here we have, coming off the sprue, our plaster and beam fronts. At least I won't have to worry about forcing these off the sprue. We have some steps, nice brickwork, some wooden pieces with a fair amount of weathering on them. Our roof. And that's our first building. Then we go on to the Jailers Lane House. Again, build instructions on the reverse, followed by the building itself. So you can see the walls have got the same standard outline. I won't go through each of these. What I will do is, that's what I'm after. Sneak down and find some of the different things. So the Market Row Shop Front is this brick and timber porch, which will then fit onto any of the buildings. Obviously, if you've got one that has a brick bottom, it will match up a bit better. Relatively quick construction. Some nice detail, including the either a light from within or stained glass, depending on your point of view. I like to think of it as a nice warm light. There's some really nice print on these, from things like your Flemish and herringbone brickwork to the slats and the tiles. So that it's really well detailed. So even though it is just a single quick build, there's plenty of texture in the print, I suppose you would say. Our walkways are a ramshackle affair. The little cottage, quite dinky, a smaller version of same. And then we have our dormer windows, jetties and the like. I'll get these all built up and then we can come back and have a look and see how all of this comes together and how modular it is. Okay, so the town centre collection, got it built up. I'm going to go through it now. We'll start with the smallest building. So there are 3 sizes of buildings in here, this being the shortest, essentially 2 floors plus a stone base, I suppose you would call it. It is a quick build. It has a set of steps that you can pop on the front and off you tot. The texture is really nice, prints excellent on it. The build itself, relatively straightforward. We'll go into that in more detail in a moment. It can be used quite nicely in conjunction with the yard walls, of which you get 4. So you get 2 doorways and 2 wall sections. Each have got a pillar at one side. So you can build something like a walled garden that attaches to the house. So perhaps something like that would be amenable. In fact, I'll turn that so the pillar is the right way around. Or you could go off at a larger angle, add another wall to it, that sort of thing. So it's a good way of breaking up space between the houses. Again, it's quite nice, relatively straightforward. The walls itself are just 2 pieces. And then they go into a base. The base is keyed. So you've got 2 lugs side by side and a single lug, just to give a bit more security and rigidity, I suppose. And then the pillars are laminated, so you've got 4 pieces in depth. So outer pillar on each side, and then the wall in the center, and then a cap. Likewise, the archways are capped off as well, and also have pillar pieces on either side. So you have a bit of depth to them. Size-wise, they are, I'll bring this in, approximately 10 centimeters or 4 inches long, and roughly 40 mil or 1.5, just over 1.5 inches tall to the wall. Obviously to the top of the archway is a bit bigger. If I shuffle those out of the way, the building itself is 85 millimeters square at the bottom, and then it widens out to 105 at the midpoint, and your widest point is 135 mil across the top of the roof. So yeah, there's also an additional chimney you can add if you want a chimney stack on there, but that's your little tall cottage along with the steps and the walls. Next up we have some of the walkways and jetties. So you get 1 sheet of these. It allows you to make 2 jetties, 2 walkways. Walkways are cambered, I suppose you would call it. One thick side, one slightly thinner side. So it means they can be attached to buildings and the like and have a nice slope down. Whereas the jetties are up on stilts. All 4 pieces are the same dimensions as far as walkway goes, 115 mil by 55 mil, and the jetties are 25 mil tall. Interesting thing about these, if I bring in our cottage again, the end piece has got 2 holes, In fact, I won't bring in the cottage, I'll bring in a medium-sized building. And as you can see, that all the medium-sized buildings and larger have these pegs, sort of the buttressing coming out, and it means you can attach a walkway to it to run it between two buildings. However, because of the cambery nature, you can't go up on both sides, but you can slope down between levels if you need to, which allows you to have a bit of interplay between the buildings. So if you've got a slightly taller building beside a shorter one, you can run between them. And you've also got that sort of locking with those pegs into the joins, so you won't have to worry about constantly knocking these onto the ground when you're playing. As far as the Jailer's Lane house goes, it's a medium-sized building, so 3 floors rather than the 2 at the tallest point. And then there's this quite nice additional piece, which is the Market Row shopfront. So with the shopfront, you have a light inside the window coming out through the leaded glass, sort of a veranda with that kinked section. And if I pop it on there, you see those locking lugs appear on either side of the building, and then the camber matches the slope on the side, so it just gives a different facing for your building, which is lovely. Allows you to be able to change up the silhouette of your shop front, your street, with very little hassle. And then you can also add on things like the upper balconies or the dormer windows, that sort of thing, around the place. The last building, I'm actually going to show you unassembled to talk about the assembly itself. So if I bring this in, this is the Gunnell Street warehouse, I believe. So it's a 4-story building, and then it would have these stonework pieces on the bottom. Now, I've built quite a few of these buildings now, and they all have the same interior structure. And the way I would suggest building it, one of these faces is not glued on. Let's see if I can remember which one, he said in a high questioning voice. No, I can't remember. Oh, there we go. It's you. Okay. So if you start by gluing the legs on the interior wall like this, and do that for all of them really, but these need to be relatively square. Get your first one glued, and then take your 2 floor sections, run the bead of glue down these and glue them to this floor, and then holding that, attach your side piece, and that will give you a nice square base to work off. So you'll have 2 sides attached. You can stand it up on the legs while you're gluing the others, pop that one on, run glue down this, and then attach your final. And you just need to make sure that they go into the pegs, into the holes, and then align with the notches top and bottom to give you that. I think the plan suggests that you build the 2 floors with your 8 buttresses. However, you get it's a much easier proposition to have the buttresses attached to your walls and then use the floors as a guide to hold the walls together. So that's how I build the buildings, wall by wall onto the floor, and then once this is completely built and dried, just add your, that's upside down, just add your 4 base pieces to it, And that's very simple because they're all square. So they'll go around without any issue at that stage. I find trying to build the floors and then put the walls on, you've got one leg will fall off, another buttress will fall, you'll skew it. It's just a little bit fiddly. So build walls and then pop your floors on. However, there are some extra bits which I want to show you. So this building, when complete, has this potential watchtower going on it. And if I bring in a similar silhouetted building, so this is the rat house, so it's the same 3-story structure, but with a different print on it. You'll see the eave of the building allows you to just pop that on. And because of the way it's built, it's relatively robust. There's a slight slip off it, but the top of the roof slopes up, so it can't slide down. It has to slide up and off, which means you could potentially keep this separate and use it as another additional piece. If I was going to do that, there is a tacky glue you can get that dries clear and stays a little bit sticky. It's used for modelling, sort of scenics, railway modelling, that sort of thing. Possibly running some of the tacky glue down both legs here would give you a little bit of stick to it. However, for general gameplay, and again, just trying to keep the silhouette somewhat different, I think that's a piece you don't have to worry about gluing on. If you do glue it, then the roof's not going to come off as easily because of the shaping on it. However, for guards of Traitors Toll, you don't go inside the buildings, and the buildings aren't really modelled with an interior. They're just blank. So having this as one piece is equally good, because it means you can just have your building and not worry about it ever again. So that's really it, beyond some additional pieces. So there are, like I say, additional balconies and dormers that you can attach to buildings in different places. And there's also a set of 4 buttresses. So for this building with the watchtower, you can make it a bit more reinforced by putting these around the stonework base, and then have sort of a more rigid structure. But that is the town centre collection. All right, there you have it, a whole bundle of buildings, all pre-printed, so you just have to get them assembled and onto the table, and they look terrific. I'm particularly excited to see what people do with the modular nature of these buildings. The fact that you can mix and match them with the existing rat house or the market day collection as well. You can sort of plug and play to a certain degree to change the outline of buildings and the footprint on the table. So a small amount of buildings will allow you to create not endless possibilities, but certainly approaching that, where it stops you having the same one street being played across over and over again. The new CYMK colour print system is really, really good, and I'm intrigued to see where Sarissa take it next in Tollingchester and hopefully beyond as well. Let me know what you think below. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.